Okay, so talking about thoracic flexion, so often we talk about posture and it's here, right? Shoulders back and down, stand up, tuck your chin, all that stuff. A lot of times I see people with an insufficient thoracic kyphosis. Our spine is designed to have a slight curve to it, right? So that our cervical spine can have a lordosis. So I just want to throw out a couple thoracic flexion exercises to make sure that we're attaining neutral. It's all about that neutral spine, right? First one is simply the barrel hug. We're familiar with this. Lock the knuckles, protract the shoulders, tuck your sternum back, drop your shoulders down, and then just apply a little pressure against your knuckles so that you're trying to pull them apart and they're not coming apart, and then you'll feel that kind of in between your shoulder blades. You can tuck your chin, you can kind of play around with a little bit of side bending. Once you get that opening there, you can do kind of an active version of that, which is just a thoracic car, and it's basically tucking your rib cage in, segmentally trying to flex down, tension into your arms and hands, giving yourself kind of that bear hug, pushing down, and then you're just gonna side bend from that position, and you can also rotate from that position. So kind of using everything here to tuck down and in order to get that thoracic spine to flex. Second, you can add a little overpressure. So you're locking your hands behind your leg. You're using your leg to straighten back in order to create an apex of flexion in that thoracic spine. Same thing, you can let your chin drop down towards your chest. You're just kind of using the leverage of bringing your leg back in order to get your thoracic spine up. Same principle, you can do kind of a yoga style pose. It's actually called rabbit. And this time your head is on the ground, trying to get the crown of your head down. You're reaching back and grabbing onto your heels, and then you're pulling up from here as you're pulling back with your biceps. Hopefully that's clear, but you're just kind of trying to get your head closer to your knees and get your thoracic spine farther to the ceiling. Serratus, end range, shortened range. Serratus anterior is really important in thoracic flexion as well. So after you get this range of motion, you can follow it up, either foam roller, this can be up against a wall, it can be on the ground, but you are fully protracting, okay, in a perfect world, full protraction, the inferior angle of the scapula should be at mid-axillary line. So that's quite a bit of protraction from that inferior scapula there. I think we're typically more strong kind of here, mid-range, as opposed to end range. So a little bit of feedback from the wall into your forearms, protract, and then trying to, again, kind of tuck that rib cage back. What you'll see is people have a tendency to shrug their shoulders at the same time. Ideally, it's just serratus and thoracic flexion. In a person who's not very reactive and has some good athleticism and some flexibility, you can kind of give them more of an advanced position using body weight in order to get some thoracic flexion. So lying on your back and then just throwing your feet over your head. Make sure they're not turning their head at all in this position, but this is just a nice way to kind of force that thoracic flexion. They can have their toes on the ground. They can do a little bit of a walking motion, kind of getting some different angles in there, and then slowly coming out of that. Again, that's obviously a little more advanced, but kind of nice. Sometimes you'll get some cavitations in there. So that is thoracic flexion.